Hi, gorgeous. Okay, so this is just kind of a quick little conversational video um, about Daphne joy and feminine energy. But before I touch on that, I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up. At first, I was like, maybe I shouldn't say. I wasn't quite sure whether or not to say something because I wasn't sure. I'm still not quite sure what it's going to look like in the outcome. But I am going to be pulling back from posting as many videos on my channel, at least for this month, which you've probably noticed, and probably for the months going forward. I think I'm just going to do one a week, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. Maybe two, we'll see. Last month, the reason why there were so many videos is because I had recorded them at the end of the month before and I had the time to do that. Now we're midway through this month and I have not had the time to do that. And I also don't know if if I have the courage to start posting workout videos again. So we're kind of just gonna see. Sometimes it feels more vulnerable to post the workout videos. Sometimes but also feels more vulnerable to like have my inner thoughts and stuff out there. But you know, YouTube is like my video diary. It's also very healing as well. And so it's just kind of like free flowing expression. It's very divine feminine in terms of like what I feel like sharing at the moment. Which, speaking about feminine energy, I actually wanted to talk about Daphne Joy. And I'm not, well, you can see by the videos I've done here, I'm not like very much like this is in the news, this is like relevant. I'm not like one of those people that's like, okay, well, the culture's talking about like this, so let's talk about this and let's talk about that. Even though it's all relevant, I'm not one of those people like that at all. But there are a group of the Poma Gira. They're a group of I don't really know. You can talk about goddesses and talk about saints, but basically the Poma Gira, it's a collection of, we'll just say for the purposes of this video, we'll just call them a collection of goddesses, right? And they're known to protect people who have been hurt when they were younger. They watch over kids. They watch over people who are Aphrodites in the bedroom, and not just women. And so they watch over segments of society members that are normally ignored and thrown away. And the journey of the Poma Gira is essentially that of being in the gutter to being like the queen that rules over a kingdom and having like 7 other kings that know about her, right? And the energy that she said to do that, to help in her transformation from like going to the gutter to like literally being so like widely sought over that like every man in and out of the kingdom is just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, and have like all these powerful kings and stuff have this thing for her, is this energy called the Shekinah. And the Shekinah, some people interpret it as feminine energy, or if you're in the Jewish culture, they interpret it as the Holy Spirit. Some people have said that the Holy Spirit is feminine, which I fully believe. And a little segue, if you've ever seen Star Trek and you see the sign, the Vulcan sign, this is actually the sign of the Shekinah. The actor is actually Jewish and he came up with the sign in that movie. But we're not going to talk about the divine feminine or the feminine energy parts as it relates to that. That's just kind of like my segue into this video. And so I love to study, I don't want to call it like power balances and conflicts and stuff between men and women. I don't want to say it and word it that way. But literally like how feminine energy can be used and how we as women, like, for so long, I would try to use what some people would call masculine energy, and just be hard and defensive, to be very hard and defensive, and maybe like out of a way to protect myself, right? And I think, you know, we're also taught to do that, whether it's by those that we love, or whether it's by society, or it's not even a conscious teaching, it's more of an unconscious teaching. Protect yourself, be unattainable. Your softness can get you attacked. And I did a video a little while ago, which I really thank you for all the support, and it was about like softness. But the more that I study the anatomy of a woman's body, the more that I study the anatomy of a goddess, and really what's happened when it comes to the divine feminine and feminine energy. And don't worry, I'm going to get to Daphne Joy in a minute. The more I realize that it's all a crux, it's all a ploy for women to not be feminine. Because woman's fully feminine, she's fully holding her essence. And I think a lot of aspects of the world has been built off of a woman's essence. So if a woman is not connected to her essence, then you can use it for herself, or then you can use it for yourself, right? Okay, so enter Daphne Joy. And if you were to walk into a lingerie store, and like you go into Victoria's Secret, you know how Victoria's Secret has the perfume section of the store? Well, think about the perfume section of Victoria's Secret being different levels of feminine energy, right? So you have Love Spell, you have Pure Seduction, you have Amber Romance. Those are the fantasy collection. And those are, I don't want to say lower level, they have a lower percentage, we'll say this, a lower percentage of pure feminine energy in it. Whereas if you have an actual perfume like Heavenly or Bombshell, it's the higher percentage of feminine energy perfume. And then within Bombshell itself, which is number one selling perfume at Victoria's Secret, within Bombshell you have different variations. So Bombshell Bronze, you'll have Bombshell Seduction, Bombshell Deluxe, Bombshell Wildflower. Some of these are discontinued, but those are even rarer, right? The women that hold these secret perfume lines are energy frequencies within their body. So I have the ability to see or tap into these frequencies. And Daphne Joy is very interesting. I don't know a ton about her. There's really not a ton out there on the internet. I know she was with, oh no, this is going to be a two-part video. I don't mean it to be. She was first with Diddy, and then she was with 50 Cent. And I don't know what happened in the middle. And I want to give a different context to this, because I think we think a woman as like, oh, this is a woman that's passed around. You're like, well, how come some of these men always end up with the same woman? And a lot of times it's put on the woman like, well, the woman know the game, the woman know how to play it. Yes, that part can be true in some instances. I'm not saying it's not. But also, the women that their highest form of feminine energy are going to be the ones that are most desired after. Now, the crux to this is these are also typically they're also slut shamed the most and are not liked by other women, especially if they're not rich and well off. Like if you just have women that you have a lot of Bombshell fragrance in your body, it's about guaranteed that other women are going to hate you because you're a representation of the feminine. And other men will do even more stuff to you, because when you learn the stories of the goddesses the way that I teach them, I teach these stories because almost like mythology, and almost like this is the energy design. Are you wearing this energy design? Are you wearing this energy design? Kind of like wine can take shapes, perfume can take shapes within your body. Okay, let's see if I can pull this out and just focus on Daphne Joy for the last 5 minutes. So with Daphne Joy, when she started speaking, she did a recent interview, and when she started speaking, I was like, oh my gosh, she is one of the highest form of feminine energy I have ever heard or seen of a woman. Like, she's just ethereally soft. And you have to watch the interview to kind of see what I mean. It's for interview with DJ Archimedes. And she is so soft. And the way, like, he melted during the video. All the comments below were like, wow, she's playing him. Wow, she's dragging him. Wow, like, look at her really dropping jewels and how the game's really played. That's where all the things were from the men. And I have to say, I personally don't think that was what my takeaway that I got from that video. But it was one of the highest I think I've ever seen someone use feminine energy and tap into their feminine energy. And I was like, wow, this is just like, this is absolutely insane. And then also just looking at the way that she runs her business. So I have my own Only Angels. And a few times a year, I'll look around and I'll subscribe to other people. And I'll just to see what they're doing. And so I subscribe to hers. She shows more on Instagram than she does on her private page. And yeah, which is you know, maybe she shares even more PPVs, I don't know. And it also kind of, this is the last little bit, it's not tied to feminine energy, but this is just the last little bit that I need to kind of get out there. So there was this S-tape that was released between her, a male version of Aphrodite in a bedroom, and Diddy. And a media outlet had it before, I guess, for a few years. And once they realized it wasn't consensual, they didn't release it. Once they realized it was more of a blackmail type of stuff. And, but ended up getting released anyway through another avenue several years later. And so she released a post in her Instagram post, or I don't know if it's Instagram or Twitter, but she was just talking about like how she can watch it and see that she wasn't even in her body. And like she can watch it, she can feel. And like I felt that so much, like so deep. And maybe that's why I'm making this video, because it was just like, I resonated with that. And then she came and she did this interview with this random guy. Like, to me, that would have been a rough interview for me to do, because he's talking about the video and talking about certain parts of it. And so, like, you know, especially if it was something that was traumatic, it would be really hard for me to, like, to laugh at it or to, like, be like, yeah, so of course it was trauma. Like, look at you monopolizing this, right? Or, like, and I think maybe some aspects, because I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt, you know. I don't know if it's like, I'm not her, I wasn't there, so I don't know if it's kind of a thing of like, well, I can't control that it happened, but any publicity I'm going to use to my advantage. And so I'm going to use this as a way to use this moment of opportunity, so many eyes being on me, to monetize my I'm saying this for her. Maybe perhaps she's like, okay, I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity and get as much money as I can off of my Only Angels page. And it also just makes me kind of sad, because I'm like, this is why people don't believe us. It's because like, but that's not my bank account. So maybe I would be doing the same thing and being like, yes, flow to me, flow this to me. So, you know, I don't know. I almost kind of feel like maybe Monica Lewinsky's podcast might have been more healing for her to just appear on and kind of talk about it. But yeah, it's just a different perspective on feminine energy and Daphne Joy. And it kind of was like, wow, like feminine energy, it can look that soft.